Hey everyone, it's David here. What are state funds and how do state funds work? Watch this video and I'll show you, but do me a favor before I get there. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the subscription link down below and I'll see you inside. Alright, so the other day for one of my corporations, I got a letter stating that we had done business with a vendor and that they were going to turn the money over to the state if they did not hear from me. And they gave me a couple options. One was to go ahead and claim the funds. And again, if it wasn't within 45 days of receipt of the letter, it would be turned over to the state. A few days later, I got this in the mail and it looks like a check. By the way, I get these in the mail all the time and it has my address on here and this looks like a check. And when you open this one up, it reads across the top, this is not a check, and it's an offer of a loan. This one's for $22,000. And it's like, you qualify up to in this amount. So when I saw this come in the mail, I thought, I totally forgot that I had one of my corporations that had a state funds deal, so I'm thinking there's no way, but I went ahead and opened it for whatever reason. I'm glad I did. I mean, this one was for $88.21. It had my name on it. Didn't have the name of the full corp and all that, but just had my name, had a letterhead of who it was from, and basically $88.21. I think what it was is I think I overpaid for something one time, and it was a credit card like on a toll place for a property flipping company I have. I think that was it. I don't exactly know. Now, $88 is very little money. I get it, but there are people that move that have retirement accounts that are tens of thousands. There are people that have like local whatever, they move from a job, they do something, or they had a bank account, someone passes, grandma, she never shared that bank account for Bank of America, or I've seen cashier's checks that didn't get cashed that were of tens of thousands of dollars. I had a guy helped not that long ago get state unclaimed funds. He had a stepdad and the funds went down to him and he didn't know how to claim them, and he's just like, and he called up, he's like, yeah, I have to sort through all the paperwork. And I said, hey, if you want to lean on me for that, I'll help you out with the paperwork. As long as you give me the paperwork, we'll go ahead and get you paid. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So there's ways, and he had a small amount, it was something like 15,000. I got 1,500 of that. And there's many deals, I've gotten checks much higher than that. But what you do is you go through the state fund list and you start working claims where you notify the people, you let them know that they have this unclaimed money, and it could be any state. My state that I've worked with, I've worked in Nevada, California, and I've done a little bit in Texas. California being my main state. You find a state, you find the protocol of what it is to go ahead and collect, and then you get the list and the amount. Now, some states like New York, they only give you above or under $100. I personally wouldn't want to work a state like that because you're playing the guessing game. But if you're going to work a state that doesn't disclose the amount, Roth IRAs, insurance claim, past bank accounts tend to have the highest, and those are accounts that you want to look for. I've come across stock accounts and various items like that as well that have been, but again, I always work it where I know the amount. So if I were playing the guessing game, which I would hate, I would go for like one of those type of accounts, like a retirement account, a Roth IRA, because that's where you see the money and that's where you see it, because typically you get a percentage. In California, it's 10%. So if I can only get 10%, I want to work claims where it's worth getting a check in the mail and it's worth the paper that it's written on. Okay, so that's basically how state funds originate. Someone has forgotten about some money, you have a vendor, you have a stock account somewhere, and somehow you've lost touch with them, you haven't kept the communication, and that money gets turned over to the state, and then people forget about it, people pass, people move on. I've contacted people, like I had a guy up in the Valencia area, California, and he had just a past account and he had moved, he had no idea. He's like, yeah, just help me collect this. It was something like 20, 30,000, I forget. I'm waiting for that check to come now. What I do is I work these checks and I get paid. Like last month, I think my commission was I did about $240,000 worth of claims, so I'll get about $24,000 worth of checks. One or two of those may not pay out. There may be a problem or something like that. That does happen, but hopefully the rest will. You typically want to work them and stay on top of them and make sure that you're collecting. But that's how state funds work. You also have mortgage and tax overages. I'll explain a little bit more of those more on a basic level. State I call low-hanging fruit because it's, you know the funds are there. You have access to them, you're able to go and you're able to work them, and the state has a protocol of working with people like investigators, funds locators, whatever you want to call us. Some states are investigator friendly, other states hate people like us. I know when I work my tax overage business, a lot of times this gets turned over as cheated somewhere. And what I do is I like to work older leads. Someone's lost a home, they've moved into grandma's basement or mom and dad's basement, they lived there for 6 months, now they've found a job, now they're back, now they got a place to rent, now they're showing up on the radar, now they're traceable. And just before the money gets escheated, I go and I collect it, and I step in there and I'll say, hey, I'll take this right here. And they hate people like us. So some states are really unfriendly toward locators. Just gotta remember, you're in this for the business. What I would do to get started is I would write down 20 people, including yourself, that you know. Look in states that you've lived in. Look in states that other relatives have looked in. I mean, I have pulled names up and people have been amazed that they actually have funds. That everyone thinks that they don't have funds. And some people have had tens of thousands of dollars. I've had people go in my course and they have found money for themselves and have fully, like, 10x the cost of their course, the course. It's been incredible. So you never know if you have funds. And then for people that you know, and then work on getting them paid. Say, hey, you know what? You're my coworker. I noticed that you have $100. Can I work on getting you paid? Why does that count? Well, because number one is you're going to get a testimonial. Number two is you learn the process. So say you want to work a state like Arizona and they work in Arizona, you contact the state of Arizona, the Treasury Department, you go and you get them, the Unclaimed Funds Division, you get them paid, you get a finder's fee. If you even do it for a finder's fee, your first couple deals are for free. Then you start locating people, and then you start letting people know that they have money that they didn't know they had. And you either do it, like you can mail, you can go ahead and call, you go ahead and text, just make sure you know your local laws for all that. But what I do is I call people and I stick to my script and I stick to the data. I let them know. I don't call and say, hey, you know that you have 20,000 you didn't know you had. They're gonna hang up on you. I would. But if you call up and you say, this is David trying to reach John Smith. John, did you used to live at 123 Main Street? I'm calling about the dormant Bank of America account at that address in the amount of $20,332.58. Do you remember having that account, or did you know about this account? It's gone dormant. And you start educating them, you pause, you hear what they have to say, and then you go ahead and you start working with them a little bit. Hey everyone, I do have a free training. If you want to go ahead and know more about it, go ahead and click the link down below in my section. I would love to work with you or come across or help you out any way I can. Thank you for all the questions. Sometimes the questions kind of, I don't see them right away, or they kind of get hidden with some other questions. So feel free to ask me your questions. I love them. I help you guys out as much as I can, and appreciate this channel and everything that comes with it. So I'll see you guys around. Thank you.